Hey there, are you interested in starting a podcast? Have you always wondered how it felt to become a podcaster, to be sold on Spotify and all the different platforms, Apple, to make money off the people you bring to the podcast? Have you thought it was too expensive? Have you looked into other podcasts and they were trying to charge you this huge amount of money? Well, look here. You need to check out Anchor. It's free of charge. It's free to get going. And the tools to edit and record your podcast is amazing. It's so many tools, so many different things you can use through Anchor. So if you're interested, go check it out on the website.
Notice how fight against each other. Grandma, sister, mother, daddy, auntie, brother, uncle, friend, and cousin. Oldest versus youngest, race against race, men versus women. The world is full of hate. What happened to the love? Nobody give a what about nobody else. They all about self. I had to change my ways, cause I was the same way. The only thing on my mind was trying to get paid. The BS and the drama.
Yes, the world is so divided. Men versus women, gay versus straight, religions versus religion, Democrat versus Republican, fathers versus sons, sons versus mothers, mothers versus daughters, elderly versus the young, different generations against other different generations. People who have this opinion going against people who have this other type of opinion. This is the world we live in, people. And in order for it to get better, we have to come up with solutions. It's many people talking about the problems, but it's not too many people talking about the solutions. And I want to be one of those people who talk about the solutions, get advice from many different people with many different opinions, many different aspects, many different ways of doing things. And I want to come up with solutions to help the people. One of the number one things I want to talk about today is solutions to the race relations, the problems that we have between Caucasians and African Americans, or white versus black, as many people of the world would call it. I don't call it that, but I have to be respectful and be respectful to people who want to call themselves a white person or a black person. But I believe in the spirit. I believe we all are spirits, not the color, but the spirit and the character. But I respect people's opinion and the way they want to do different things. But yeah, we need to come up with solutions to race relations. Some of the solutions that I have, in my opinion, is we need to integrate more. You know, we need to get out of our comfort zone. Both races. Blacks, we need to go to all white churches. Whites need to go to all black churches. People need to go to all Hispanic churches. But I'm speaking of these two races. Number one, white versus black. We have to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations to understand one another. We have to put ourselves around each other to understand that our differences and how God has blessed each race with gifts. Each race has something special about them. And if we can embrace those gifts from each other and try to get along despite history and despite the race baiting politics that many people want to engage in, we can get far, because unity is everything. We have to unite, and it starts with the white and the blacks. Whites and blacks, Europeans, Africans, Caucasians, whatever people want to call themselves, I have no problem with. We have to get along with each other. We do. It's time. It's time for leaders on both sides to step up to the plate and come up with solutions. And that's what I say about the Black Caucus and the black leaders Instead of hating Trump, instead of hating Republicans, instead of hating Democrats, instead of hating whoever it's a white race, let's try to come together with these people and come up with some solutions. I feel like a lot of us are trying to, either a man or trying to become a man. I feel like I'm still trying to become a man. So I feel like as a man, when you and a man, another man have a disagreement, y'all talk about that disagreement. So that's what we need to do. We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk to each other. We need to have friendly debates. We need to show the facts. Whoever can show the facts, show the proof. That's what we should stand for. The facts and the truth. Not mine, not yours, but what exists. The truth that exists, the facts that exist. We have to stand for that. Even if it's going against what you believe in. If it's the truth and if it's facts, hey, I'm sorry. That's what it is. So we need to tighten up race relations in America, all over the world, between whites and blacks, starting in America. The problem is both sides have people feeding into that narrative of division. The whites have people, the blacks have people who fight so bad to keep that agenda around between whites versus blacks. But it's time for us to get real leaders. It's time for real black leaders. If you are a real black leader, real white leaders, if you are a real white leader, it's time for us to figure out solutions for us to coexist. It's time for us to come up with ways to fix race relations. And I think and I feel once we come up with ways to fix race relations and we start uniting and coming together as a people, as children of God, I feel like we'll be able to tackle some of the other issues that we face in the world, and especially in America. With the black men being arrested higher than any other race, and different reasons, it's different circumstances that's causing that. I don't want to say it's because of the system or it's because of them. It's different reasons why black men are being arrested. So if we can fix race relations, I feel like the Caucasian people can help us fix a lot of these issues. But first we have to fix race relations, because some of the Caucasians who do want to help our community, when they come around, people kind of treat them a certain way because they feel like all white people are racist. So in order for us to fix the issues in the black community, it starts with black leaders. And I also feel, in my opinion, we have to fix race relations with whites, number one. That's what we have to do in America. We have to fix race relations. We do. That's the number one issue that I feel that we face, and that's a serious problem in our country, race relations, because history is history. It's good, it's bad. People's ancestors were slave masters, but they weren't, but they still getting blamed for slavery. We can't blame Caucasians of today for slavery. We can't. And a lot of blacks got to understand, they had slaves in Africa. Badagry, Nigeria, has a museum exposing this, where slaves were sold to the Europeans for plates, spoons, weapons. So we have to get our facts straight. The Europeans weren't the only ones involved in slavery. Many different groups was involved in slavery, including blacks. So we have to teach our people the truth on both sides, So race relations is one of the top issues that I feel like we need to come up with solutions. And my solutions is part of it. It's so many smart people out here that can come up with solutions also, maybe even better than my solutions. My solutions is integrating, putting yourself in uncomfortable places and uncomfortable situations where it's the opposite race, so we can understand each other, and I'm sure there's many other solutions out there, and I feel like once we fix race relations, we will be able to fix some of the other issues that we face in our country, because we can learn from Europeans and Europeans can learn from us. That's what it's about as children of God. It's about us learning from each other. No one know it all. No one has all the facts. So it takes for people to unite and share those different facts and those different experiences with each other so the other people can learn from them. We can learn from the Europeans, the whites, and the whites can learn from us. So that's how we come together, learning from each other, growing from each other, learning how to respect each other's differences, understanding why each other feel a certain way about the opposite race, So it's two sides to the story, A lot of black people feel like white people prejudice towards them for no reason. But in some cases, it's for a reason. All you got to do is look at our black people. I talk to people who work at gas stations, malls, different industries, and the main people who go in there and try to steal is black people. And I'm not saying all black people do that. I'm just saying people don't feel a certain way for no reason. And I think it goes for both sides. Blacks, it is some whites out here who are racist and act a certain way towards blacks. So I think it go both ways. We both parties, both races have bad people. Both races have good people. But we need the good people to unite and come together. If good people stand around and do nothing, they just as guilty as the people who doing the evil. So we need good people, not perfect people, because none of us is perfect. But all of us do not want to destroy each other. All of us don't wake up every day thinking about how to kill this person, how to kill that person, how to destroy that person. So that's the difference. A lot of people will listen to me and say, well, you act like you holier than thou. I'm not holier than thou, but I'm not plotting to destroy this person and the next person. So we need to fix race relations in this country. And I'm going to talk about this in every podcast until I can make a difference or other people can listen to what I'm saying and start making a difference. It doesn't matter to me because I don't want any credit. I deserve no credit for anything that might transpire, anything that might happen. I'm just a person who wants to see it happen. I'm far from perfect. I have my flaws. I commit sins like the rest of the people. I just want to make a difference with the people. And that's the difference between a lot of us. Some of us are just here for our own lives, but others are here to embrace others and influence others. And that's what I'm about. I'm about embracing people and influencing people, and those people influencing me, So it's not just about me or you, it's about us. So as children of God, it's time for blacks to unite with whites. And once we do that, we'll be able to fix a lot of the issues that we face in our communities. But I really do feel deep down that blacks and whites can unite. And not just blacks and whites, all of the people around the world, we all can unite. Blacks and blacks can unite, blacks and whites, Hispanics, Indians, all races. We need to unite. And we can only do that with love and peace. And without love, we can't have peace. Without peace, we can't have love. And without neither one of those, we can't unite. And if we nitpick with everything that each other do, we never will be able to come together. Never. If we judge every little single thing each other do by not understanding why we do some of the things we do, we could never grow as a people. People have to understand why people are doing certain things. It's no excuse, but understand the circumstances they were put in to cause them to do some of the things they do. And until people start focusing on that, I don't think we can change. Because most of us, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you don't have an agenda like the politicians. You just want to take care of your family. You just want to be around the people you love, and you just want peace. Most of us. But this world that we in, that's full of confusion, full of division, full of propaganda, full of negativity, it makes a lot of us act out, and including me. That's why I have to watch who I'm around. I have to watch what I watch on the television. I have to watch how I look at certain women who's dressing a certain way because of temptation. I battle with all these things also. That's the world we living in. But I feel we have to come up with some solutions to the problems we face and the flaws a lot of us have. But people can't judge you on your flaws if they can't give you an idea on how to fix them. So if you can judge people on their lifestyle, and if you disagree with what they're doing, you should also have that same energy into figuring out man, how can I help this person become better? That's what we have to focus on. And until we focus on that as a people, things will not change. If you're rich and you are successful, but you're not putting that same energy into helping other people become rich and successful, then you are selfish. When you get success and you reach a certain level, you should want to pull others up with you. You should want to guide them in the right direction. You should want to see people benefit the same way you benefit. If we start paying attention to that and focusing on that instead of the problems, man, we will become great people. Like I said before, the people who have the resources, the whites and the blacks, the rich blacks, the white blacks, the rich whites, the rich blacks, those are the people who can make a difference in our communities. Those are the people who can fix race relations. Those are the people. We need the black leaders and the white leaders to step up and be leaders. I'm calling both parties out, the whites and the blacks. We need both races, both leaders from each race to step up to the plate and unite the people, because it's too much hate over nothing when we all are children of God. Are white people perfect? Nope. Are black people perfect? Nope. Do they have good ones in each race? Yes. So why not focus on the positive, the good that we do? Why not? Why not do that? If we can unite for sports because we both like a certain sports team, why we can't unite on the strength of us being children of God? I'm not saying we're not going to disagree. I'm not saying that we're not going to have different opinions, but that's why we are so great. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different opinion. That's what makes the world so great. And if we can embrace if we can embrace those different opinions and embrace the differences we all have, I think we can unite and get along. But it starts with our leaders. It starts with our leaders. Black leaders, white leaders, black leaders. No more race baiting. No more talking about the past. Which I'm not saying nothing wrong with talking about the past, but we got to come up with ways to move on. In order for us to unite and coexist, we have to move on from the past, because none of us were involved in the past. It was wrong. It was horrible. I agree, but keep coming up with all these different slave movies and all these racist topics in the media. That's not helping us as a people. That's dividing people. And the evil know that. That's why they deploy all these different tactics, these division tactics, create movies to get in your feelings, putting politicians in front of you to race bait from both parties. This is what we have to recognize as children of God. Ministers have to call this out. I went to church with my wife last week and I told a minister or a deacon, the problem that I have with a lot of the churches is the ministers are all about themselves, for one. Having a pastor's day, which I don't feel no pastor should have, because you're not in it for you. We are in it for God. So I told the deacon, the minister, whatever status he has, when you go to most of these churches, it's either all black, all white, all Hispanic, all Asian. It's no unity. It's no integration. It's no us coming together and worshiping God together. Everything is separate. So I feel as real children of God, we have to unite with each other. If we all believe in the same spirit, the same spiritual being, the same creator, why we can't coexist, celebrate God together, pray together, love each other, go to church together. why everything is so divided. And until the people who represent God start paying attention to these things, we will never grow as as children of God. We will never grow. That's why a lot of people don't have faith in a lot of these ministers, because the people who have discernment, you understand what God is about. You know, it's many people who read the Bible 1,000,000 times, go to church every day, and they still don't have the discernment of God. God wants us to come together. And if no minister is teaching this, telling his black people, telling his white people, hey, we need to come together with children of God who are black or white. We need to unite. We need to integrate. We need to get along. We need to love each other. I don't hear any ministers calling that out. I don't hear any politicians speaking about the good things that blacks or whites do. I only hear about the negativity, the race baiting, the division tactics. We need to start also talking about the positive that we see, the growth that we see. That's a solution. We can't always focus on the negative of each race. We have to focus on the positive also. But we need real leaders. We need real leaders to step up. It's a shame that kids go to college and they develop a certain mindset because of the college that they attended. It doesn't matter the race. Both races, most of the kids that's coming out of college right now are liberal. And I have nothing against liberal. But the problem I do have out of liberals are they don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe in freedom of anything. It's all about political correctness and all this craziness. I'm not saying some of them not good people, but I think some of them can be a little bit overboard. Some of them can do things that's a little bit overboard sometimes. Like the investigations into President Trump. He didn't collude with Russia. They know he didn't collude with Russia. They knew the dossier was fake. And for blacks and whites to continue on with the hoax, that'll never bring our communities together. Never. Because you have whites and blacks telling blacks that Trump is a racist. And you have a lot of black people really believing it. And that's sad. That's sad that the president who wants people to have freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms, no late-term abortions, no globalist agendas, America first, protect people from the criminals coming from different countries, which they have a lot of them. And like I said before, God has a wall, and he's going to keep bad people out of heaven. So if you feel like Trump is immoral, well, hey, God is immoral too, I guess. And you don't believe in God, and God is not in you. That separates the people. We need to unite. And people could say, well, Trump is a dividing president. Well, that's your opinion. But I see people who dislike the president, he's willing to put himself around them and have conversations with them. But they're not willing to do the same. So you tell me who's the bad person. Trump take opinions from everybody. He might not use them, but he takes them. The people who so against Trump, they don't. It's only one way with them. It's no compromising. And that's how you have to understand evil. Evil is no compromising. It's their way or the highway. So, whites and blacks, we have to come together and fix race relations in order for us to change our country and save our people. Because we have a lot of politicians who are brainwashing our people with race baiting, false narratives, false agendas, promoting agendas that really are destroying us and destroying our relationship with God by creating this narrative that we have to accept evil. That's the problem that we face in our country. And the only thing you hear on the media is about Donald Trump. But we have people in our country, blacks and whites, who are way more evil, who are out here killing people and destroying people's lives. but you never ever hear about it. You have politicians who have been involved in scandals, and they have never been investigated, whites and blacks. Well, some of the, whites and blacks. You have a lot of corruption in politics, but none of these people are investigated. And that's the problem that we could fix if both sides come together. Because black leaders and white leaders, if we come together, we can expose the rats. We can expose those who are not good from either party, because it doesn't matter the party. Whoever is wrong is wrong. Nobody should be loyal to a political party. So that's why we need whites and blacks to come together, so we can expose the real wickedness, the real corruption. Because when you evil, like I tell people, when you evil in this world, the world will love you. So if Donald Trump was so evil, the world would love him. If he was so bad, the world would love him. Anybody who go to church, if you don't know that, something is wrong. The Bible talks about the world and how the world would not accept you as a child of God. The world accepts evil. Those who manipulate their way into power. Those who tell the people what they want to hear just to get their attention and to get their support. That's something Donald Trump don't do. He speaks his mind, whether you love it or hate it. So we have to embrace those who we might not agree with on everything, but who really means well. And until we start fixing our issues between whites and blacks, we will never be able to expose the real snakes, because people are loyal to their parties. And until we fix race relations, people are going to continue to be loyal to their race and to their political party. So that's why fixing race relations is very important, so we can get leaders from both sides to come together and expose the rats. So any listener out there, think about ways we can fix race relations between whites and blacks, and race relations between people in general. But number one is whites and blacks. Think of ways. Dream about whites and blacks coming together and building a beautiful world, because both sides have great ideas. Both sides have great strengths. Both sides have people who mean well. Both sides have smart individuals who want to help the people. But the problem is everything is divided. So when things are divided, the wonderful and great ideas of both parties can't come together as one and make things more powerful. That's what we need. Whites and blacks, it's time. It's time for us to come together. Thank you. I love you. Remember, love, peace, and unity. Remember, expose yourself before you expose anybody else. Facts over feelings. Truth, no opinions. Remember that. It's not about opinions. It's about facts. And all of us have opinions. But remember, opinions will not help nobody. Only facts. Only truth. Love you.